2015, a young and rising actress named Kim Soo met one of Korea's top stars, Kim Soo. At the time, she was only 15 years old and still considered a child in the public eye, while Kim Soo was already 27 and internationally known for his roles in blockbuster dramas. According to Kim Soo-ran's family, this was when their romantic relationship began, quietly, secretly, and behind closed doors. For years, nothing about it reached the public. Fans continued to support both actors, unaware that a relationship that would later shake the entertainment world was quietly taking shape. While rumors and speculation occasionally popped up in online forums, there was never any solid evidence to prove they were more than acquaintances. The two had been seen together on rare occasions, mostly at agency events or behind-the-scenes functions, but nothing that screamed scandal. At the time, both were represented by the same management agency, Gold Medalist, which helped explain any overlap in their appearances. For a while, this closeness was brushed off as professional. Then, in May 2022, Kim Soo made headlines. Not for a new acting role, but for crashing her car while driving under the influence. The incident left parts of the neighborhood without electricity and caused major property damage. She was widely criticized, and the scandal damaged her reputation overnight. What the public didn't know then was that her agency, Gold Medalist, quietly stepped in to handle the mess. They paid nearly 700 million won to cover repair costs and damages, more than $500,000. This wasn't publicly disclosed at first, but it would become a major point of tension down the line. Behind the scenes, Kim Soo was struggling. Her acting career stalled, her endorsements vanished, and she was labeled as reckless and immature by media and the public. Reports later revealed that her agency had placed strict conditions on her financial support, expecting her to repay the money they had fronted. According to her family, Kim Soo had asked for more time to pay it back, but her pleas were ignored. By now, she had very little income, and with no projects lined up, the weight of that debt hung heavily on her. Still, even with all this happening, nothing had yet surfaced about any romantic relationship between her and Kim Soo. The public still viewed him as Korea's clean-cut golden boy, completely separate from her downfall. But the strain on Kim Soo was growing. She became increasingly isolated and was reportedly suffering from depression. Her close circle started to worry, though few knew the full extent of what was happening behind closed doors. Most assumed she was dealing with the fallout from the DUI alone. What was only whispered in small circles was that she felt abandoned, not just by the industry, but by people she had once trusted. Her family would later claim that among those who had distanced themselves from her, the person who hurt her the most was Kim Soo. They said he had promised to support her, that they had been romantically involved for years, and that once her scandal hit, he cut ties and never looked back. At the time, there was no proof, no photos, no texts, nothing to bring those whispers to light. But the seed of that story had already been planted, and it would grow into a full-blown controversy later on. For now, though, Kim Soo-hyun's image remained untarnished. He was still doing TV dramas, still signing brand deals, and still seen as untouchable. Meanwhile, Kim Soo was being quietly pushed out of the industry. The contrast between their situations, once connected by a possible secret, was growing more obvious, even if nobody could yet put their finger on why. In March 2024, everything started to unravel. Out of nowhere, Kim Soo posted a photo on social media that showed her sitting close to Kim Soo-hyun, looking relaxed and comfortable with him. The post didn't have a caption, but it didn't need one. Within minutes, fans and media outlets began speculating wildly about the nature of their relationship. Was it recent? Were they dating? And if so, for how long? The internet exploded with theories and questions, and just as quickly as the photo went up, it disappeared. Kim Soo deleted the post, but the damage was done. Screenshots had already spread like wildfire. gold medalist. The agency representing both actors at the time jumped into damage control. They released a statement claiming the photo was old and taken when Kim Soo was still signed under their label. According to them, there was nothing romantic about it. They said it was just a friendly moment from the past, not something that should spark rumors, but the timing of the post was suspicious. Kim Soo was riding high on a recent drama comeback, and the sudden appearance of this photo raised eyebrows. People wanted answers. What made the situation worse was that this wasn't just about a photo. Around the same time, Korean media began reporting that Kim Soo owed a massive debt to her former agency, roughly 700 million won. That amount matched the money gold medalist had paid to cover the damages from her drunk driving incident 2 years earlier. At first, the public thought it was a standard repayment agreement. But then, reports suggested that Kim Soo had tried multiple times to reach out to the agency to ask for more time to pay it back. Her requests, allegedly, were ignored. That detail changed the way people saw things. Suddenly, Kim Soo didn't look like just another fallen actress. She seemed more like someone drowning in debt and desperate to make herself heard. Some began to wonder if posting that photo of Kim Soo had been a calculated move, a way to force the agency's hand or get the public's attention. Whether or not that was true, the timing couldn't be ignored. As speculation grew, so did public interest in the story. Online communities started digging through past photos, interviews, and agency events. Fans noticed how Kim Soo and Kim Soo had occasionally appeared at the same functions, even before she was officially under the same agency. Some claimed their body language suggested a deeper connection. Others pushed back, saying it was all a reach, that there was no solid proof of anything more than a working relationship. Still, there was a growing sense that something wasn't right. Gold medalist responses came off as stiff and overly rehearsed. Kim Soo stayed silent, refusing to comment on the situation at all. Meanwhile, Kim Soo didn't post again, but her silence now felt heavy with meaning. People began to suspect that her actions were fueled by frustration, that she might have felt betrayed or discarded by the very people who were supposed to protect her. As March went on, the story refused to die down. The photo, the debt, and the cold way the agency appeared to be handling the situation all became topics of national conversation. Comment sections were filled with mixed reactions. Some slammed Kim Soo for trying to drag someone else down with her, while others began to wonder if she was being punished for something more complicated than the public knew. By the end of the month, it was clear that this wasn't just a passing scandal. Something deeper was brewing, and although no one had the full picture yet, the cracks in the surface were beginning to show. The silence from both Kim Soo and his agency only made people more curious. For the first time, the public began asking a question that would soon take center stage. What was really going on between these two? On February 16th, 2025, Kim Soo was found dead in her Seoul apartment. The news spread within hours. Authorities ruled it a suicide. That same day happened to be Kim Soo birthday, a detail that immediately stirred suspicion and speculation. No note was publicly released, but the timing alone was enough to reopen public curiosity about the controversy that had been brewing for months. What started as an awkward photo in March 2024 was now a national tragedy. After her death, a relatively quiet YouTube channel run by Hoverlab, connected to the Garo Sero Institute, posted what would become a bombshell video. In it, the hosts claimed to have received confidential information from a hospital, where Kim Soo had reportedly sought treatment in late 2024. They said hospital workers had leaked personal files, including accounts from medical staff, screenshots of messages, and handwritten notes. According to Hoverlab, these materials pointed to an emotionally destructive romantic history with Kim Soo. They said Kim Soo had been depressed, feeling abandoned by someone she had once been close to. The video also included an interview with a woman claiming to be a family member of Kim Soo. Speaking off camera, she said that Kim Soo Hyun and Se-ron had been in a relationship for 6 years, beginning in 2015 when Se-ron was 15 years old and Soo Hyun was 27. She alleged that the relationship had been kept secret through pressure from people within their agency and the entertainment industry. According to her, the actress had held on to guilt, fear, and confusion for years, and her downward spiral in recent times had everything to do with the end of that relationship and how it had been handled. Screenshots and clips of that video circulated quickly. Some of the evidence shown included blurred photos of a man and woman hugging, alleged chat logs, and scans of letters written by Se-ron. One letter said to be hers referenced feeling used and forgotten. Another reportedly mentioned watching someone I loved pretend not to know me anymore. None of the materials could be fully verified, but their emotional impact was immediate. The video hit a nerve. People who had once dismissed Kim Se-ron's earlier actions, like posting that photo with Kim Soo Hyun in 2024, now reconsidered everything. That post, which had seemed like a publicity stunt at the time, was now seen by many as a cry for help. Comments flooded every news site and social media platform. Some expressed rage. Others posted long messages of regret for not taking her side earlier. In a matter of hours, public opinion shifted dramatically. Kim Soo Hyun remained silent. The silence became louder by the day. Netizens began demanding a statement. His agency, gold medalist, had gone quiet since the leak. Fans who once defended him started to waver. Brands he had worked with stopped updating their campaigns. Gossip shows ran timelines. Online forums dissected his old interviews and past interactions with Kim Se-ron, looking for any sign of truth behind the growing allegations. On March 14th, gold medalist finally issued an official statement. The agency admitted that Kim Soo Hyun and Kim Se-ron had been romantically involved, but only briefly, from the summer of 2019 to the fall of 2020. According to them, the relationship had started well after she turned 18. They denied any relationship prior to that and insisted that the two had been out of contact for years before her passing. The statement did little to calm the backlash. Critics felt it was carefully crafted and too late. Many questioned the timing of the relationship gold medalist described, accusing the agency of rewriting history to avoid legal or moral scrutiny. Meanwhile, Kim Soo Hyun himself still had not spoken. As accusations mounted, so did pressure for him to address them directly. On March 31st, 2025, Kim Soo Hyun finally appeared before the public. For weeks, he had been silent while his name dominated headlines, message boards, and nightly broadcasts. Now, standing in front of a wall of cameras at a press conference in Seoul, he looked visibly thinner, pale, and shaken. He bowed deeply before speaking. When he did, his voice cracked almost immediately. "I am truly sorry to be standing here like this," he said, fighting back tears. "But I must speak for myself now." For the first time, Kim Soo Hyun directly addressed the claims that had been made since Kim Se-ron's death. He confirmed that they had been in a relationship, but firmly stated that it began in 2019 and ended in 2020. He said it was short-lived and ended on mutual terms. He denied in absolute terms that anything had happened between them while she was a minor. He also denied having any contact with her in the years leading up to her death. As he spoke, tears streamed down his face. His hands trembled as he held the microphone. "I never imagined that I would be connected to such a heartbreaking event," he said. "I grieve for her, and I mourn her deeply. But I cannot stay silent while false information continues to spread." Then he shifted focus. He announced that he had already filed a lawsuit against Hoverlab and individuals involved in leaking and circulating what he described as fabricated and illegally obtained personal information. This included the Garosero-affiliated YouTubers who had published the hospital claims, letters, and alleged chat logs in February. His legal team, he said, was also pursuing additional charges related to defamation. illegal access to private records, and digital harassment. The press conference lasted just under 20 minutes, but it dominated news coverage for days. Some viewers said they saw real pain in his face and believed him. Others were unmoved, saying the tears had come too late after weeks of silence and damage. But regardless of how people felt, the speech marked a turning point. Kim Soo was no longer avoiding the issue. He was fighting back. His agency, gold medalist, released a follow-up statement later that day, reinforcing everything he had said. They added that the hospital information published by Hover Lab had been obtained without consent and violated multiple privacy laws. They called on the press to stop repeating unverified claims and warned that more lawsuits were coming. But the damage wasn't limited to rumors and YouTube channels. Brands began cutting ties one after another. Prada and Dinto both confirmed they were ending promotional contracts with Kim Soo. Other companies, while not releasing statements, quietly removed his photos and endorsements from their websites. Multiple streaming services placed his projects on review. His drama, scheduled to air in the summer, faced internal discussions over whether to delay its release or cancel it altogether. Meanwhile, Kim Soo-ran's family pushed back hard. Through their legal representatives, they stated they were planning countersuits against both Kim Soo-hyun and gold medalist. They accused the agency of trying to distort the timeline of the relationship and suppress evidence. In their statement, they claimed that Kim Soo-ran had attempted multiple times to speak out in her final year, and that being ignored and silenced had contributed to her mental collapse. They said the letters and screenshots shared through Hover Lab were real, and that more materials would be presented in court. By the end of the first week of April, both sides were deeply entrenched in legal warfare. The public remained divided. One half saw a grieving man destroyed by lies. The other saw a powerful actor using legal muscle to protect himself from accountability. But everyone agreed on one thing. This was no longer just a scandal. It was a reckoning, and it was far from over. The Kim Soo-hyun scandal has shaken Korean entertainment to its core. What began with a single photo spiraled into a public breakdown of secrets, allegations, and a tragic death that left the industry stunned. From Kim Soo-ran's silence to her final moments, and from leaked hospital records to legal retaliation, this is a story with no easy answers, only consequences. As lawsuits build and the public remains divided, one thing is certain. This is no longer just about image. It's about everything that was buried finally coming